Hey T-Heads, this is Don and Lee from Mayleaf. We just shot a video, which you would have seen maybe, I'll put a link in the description below if you haven't, where we tasted a couple of teas and we needed to describe them without using any references to food or drink. And we enjoyed the experience so much that we thought we would just dive into another tasting. So we've got two Raw PuErh's 2022 here, very different looking teas you can see, right? This one is from Yiwu. This is actually from Gaoshan Village. This is actually the sample that we received that is the follow-up from Nectar Raider, Shimmer Bliss Roadie, and Mist Pilgrim. For those of you who know, that means nothing to you. But we didn't select it this year. And this is another random weird raw pu'er. This is garden raw pu'er, so it's not gushu. But I just thought we would just give them a go. All right, so the goal here is to describe these teas without using any references to food or drink. So you can use visual imagery, you can bring up emotive, descriptors, you can bring up whatever you want, characters, sounds, however you want to describe it, but you cannot use food and drink references because we found it kind of interesting, right?
That one looks beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very, that's
so sculptural.
That's the classic sort of really high quality gushu picking.
Why is it high quality? How can you tell visually that it's so high quality?
Let's bring it up.
I mean, it is quite...
So you can see that the leaves here are, first of all, very full pickings. You can see this is a bud and one leaf, bud and two leaf here. Compared to this one, it's a bit more nondescript, a bit more broken, right? Also, the leaves just have a look of seriously chunky, nice looking leaves that are that have been rolled carefully so that they're not too twisted and broken, so they have a kind of quite straight look to them. But in terms of judging quality, it's just a little bit of a guesstimate. There are some pointers, but they don't necessarily mean it's great.
And why didn't you choose that one this year?
Didn't feel like it quite met the standard that we want, or we felt that it wasn't doing anything that was different from other teas in our catalogue.
So it's a nice tea.
It's a very nice tea. But also the price point is very big on these because it's a very famous area of China and a very famous village. Gaoshan Village is a high mountain village. It's a very sort of well-known, revered area, and therefore the prices are very, very high. All right, so here you go. Yiwu Gaoshan Village 2022. See if we can describe these without using any terminology for food and drink. Which I think is actually going to be more challenging than our last video, because our last video was aged Liu Bao, and when it ages, it sort of develops all sorts of crazy funkiness, whereas these are going to be a bit more straight, the smell of, of fresher nature.
I mean, I'm just smelling sort of nectarine orchards.
Okay, that's a food.
No, it's not a nectarine, though. It's an orchard.
You're stretching.
Okay, all right, sorry. But you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Okay, summertime.
Summertime.
Full summer.
Yeah. Sweaty skin with sun cream. I'm getting summer holiday vibes. When you're on a beach and you're getting that sort of smell of fresh sweat and.
See, I'm more in the countryside than the beach. I'm more in the country.
No, I know what you mean, but it's that hot skin.
Yeah. I'm feeling barns and.
Yeah.
And sort of orchards.
Orchards. You can say orchards. Yeah. Orchards,
meadows.
Barns, meadows.
Just this playful frolicking around and sort of child sort of. It's got this sort of childish. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It feels liberating. It feels like you want to roll down a hill. It has that rolling hills, sounds of little children in the background. You know that sound?
Yeah, buttercups. And you put the buttercup on your chin. Remember we used to do that? Yeah,
it's very, very. What's that? Bucolic? Is that a word?
Yes, it is a word.
But I also get a little bit of, without using terminology of food, I'm getting
Dandelions.
Okay. Yeah, there is herbs and flowers.
But you know the ones you blow.
Do they have a smell?
It's just the image that comes up when I smell it. I mean, a lot of this
There's
is
something else.
A lot of this is not necessarily what you're smelling. It's what the associations, what it evokes in you.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now let's have a sniff of the other one. Ooh. Different.
Oh, this is hard.
You want to talk food and drink,
I do.
don't you?
Where am I? The first thing that I'm thinking is, where am I when I smell that? That was Barnes Meadows, feeling sort of outdoors, late summer. What's this one?
I feel like I'm indoors now. I don't feel like I'm outside, but I feel like I'm in maybe a florist's sort of, like it's got that sort of humid little greenhousey sort of note to it for me.
I feel like it's got someone like a vegan kitchen or something.
Okay.
Or someone really healthy.
Yeah, if it smells.
Wholesome. Doesn't it feel like someone who's, those vegan kitchens that smell so good? We were talking about that the other day. That smell that you get when you go
there's a
into...
combination of that, but I'm also getting a slight sort of spray cleaner, but like I can say a fruit fragranced spray.
No, you got me on the orchard. That's not fair.
But it has a sort of like a clean.
Yeah, we're skirting around the one word we want to use.
Yeah.
So you're going to find... I mean...
Okay, let's rinse them.
Can I just say something? Is this autumn for you? What?
I can't put a time frame on this one. It's hard. I think they're both summer to me. But that one is more... out meadow.
This is indoors, that's outside.
Hot weather. This is cooler, but it still feels summertime to me.
Do you think it's got a slight feeling of, it's going to sound really gross.
Sorry.
BO to it.
Body odor. Yeah, it is, but a vegan body.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Like a body odor of somebody who's got
musky,
a very but a body odor of someone's got a good
disgusting,
diet.
Yeah, not disgusting body odor, but
Yeah.
It's got a bit of that being close to skin.
And maybe that's what I mean. If this is
sweaty.
more like hot fresh skin and sun cream. This is more body odor with a bit of deodorant, sort of over the top.
But you feel like you're in someone's armpits a bit here.
Yeah. All right.
Nice smelling armpits,
Yeah.
but
Good armpits.
armpits.
Okay. Have a sniff of the wet leaf of this one. So we're talking about people now, right? In a way.
Oh, it smells so... You smell the meadows now. You smell them bringing in the hay, actually.
Oh, yeah.
That sort of late summer bringing in the hay.
Yeah, it's got like a dried, almost, dried hay.
It's not this wet summer feeling.
No.
It's definitely not in England, even though we've had a heat wave here this year. But
Yeah.
it feels a bit more somewhere arid or dry and countryside dry.
When the dry, it has the color that it evokes is a slight yellowing, right? It's that yellowed grass or yellowed hay, or all hay is yellow. Yellowed grass is hay.
Yeah.
But like, or am I allowed to say like cut wheat? Like it's not, it's that cut.
Yeah.
Note.
Bales of hay. Kind of, you think of those Van Gogh paintings and south of France.
I was thinking France. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. So France, right smack bang in the middle of summer. You know,
Countryside
hot,
France.
that and the smell of like hot skin and
Maybe by a pool.
I don't know about that. For me, it feels quite dry. I don't know about the pool.
Well, you got the whole thing with it. You said something with sunscreen and
Yeah, like sun cream, but I
Okay.
don't need the. I don't like it has a cream note to it. It has like there's a slight sort of chemical, not chemical, but you know, like that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
like
yeah.
slightly
So you're
synthetic.
thinking a bit more farm life.
I'm thinking country life.
Country farm life.
Country life.
Don't you feel like? Yeah, it's on a farm. It's on a country farm in France.
And okay, I'm going to say something weird. Like for me, there's a certain smell in sun creams that evokes a little bit of. This is going to sound gross again. That evokes a little bit of kidney smell, like steak and kidney pie, like just the kidney.
Bring up food.
Okay, but I'm talking about an organ here.
Okay.
Okay, all right, yeah, fine, right, but like. So
I know what you're saying there.
there's like a smell in cream that has a sort of that is a food. I messed up. I'm just thinking that the person here is a French lady, and her surname is Rognon. Okay, all right.
And let's just say we do know someone
Yeah.
who's French or Swiss.
Okay, that is very, very different. Oh, this one is this character is shifted.
Okay, just kind of just trying to see. When you said a Rognon, you meant like an oldish woman?
No, I
Old
don't.
relation?
I don't imagine older. No, I imagine someone who's. The imagery that I'm getting is a French woman that's maybe in her 30s, who's sort of like works who's lived on the countryside for a long time, and she's kind of put up laundry, and it's like it's a hot summer's day, and they're bringing the bales of hay in, and it's meadowy, and I'm smelling her skin, you know.
Her skin's quite sort of dark. It's just a bit
Yeah.
rough. It's been in the sun. It's
Yeah.
used to the sun.
It's definitely sun, you know, sun blessed skin. Okay.
Okay. Attractive woman?
I always imagine women to be attractive in my head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's a vegetable, but I'm not allowed to say it.
No.
What did we say before?
We said vegan BO.
That feels... that feels like it's gone.
Yeah, that's gone. She's shifted, or he's shifted, or someone's shifted.
Oh, God, what do you say? I mean...
It's hard. A very difficult one, because it's so weird.
Oh, that is weird.
This is I don't know where this is from. Sorry, this is one of my samples. We just pulled out some samples.
I don't...
I'm in a lab now. I feel like there's beakers and little pipettes with rubber ends, you know, and there's some sort of chemistry going on. It may be food chemistry, so it's like it is sort of like it is.
Could it be someone's shed lab versus like a clinical lab? You know, like...
Could be.
You know, those where it's like a little hobby or something in the back garden.
Yeah, and there is definitely a sweet, sticky pine resin sap, some sort of resiny, sticky, sweet note happening in there, and there's also like almost like a slightly sort of sickly, like that deodorant smell. It's kind of a bit intense. I remember tasting this with Celine and sort of being a bit baffled by it because it had this sort of quite over the top smell to it.
Are we allowed to say flowers?
Yeah.
Honeysuckle.
Yeah. Definitely.
I really smell honeysuckle here. But it does feel like something that would be in a deodorant or something.
Yeah, it just
under
feels
armpits.
concentrated somehow. It feels like it's been distilled or concentrated.
Feels like it's had contact with human skin. Like it's got body odor still in there.
Yeah.
It still has that
And it's
like a
got,
musty,
it's got musk. There's a mustiness, yeah.
which brings me to the shed more.
Yeah. So I'm getting resins, I'm getting shed, I'm getting, wooden, like, you know when you cut wood and it's sort of just bleeding the resins. But I'm also getting like a sort of chemically, not that there's chemicals in it, but like a very concentrated deodorant-y sort of aroma in there.
Do you suddenly think of the violin a bit when you bring up resins?
Yeah,
Remember how you used to play the violin? All those resins?
yeah.
I mean, is it evoking any sort of memory for you? Not really.
Not
right?
really. It feels
Neither
quite
of these
alien.
two, yeah.
It feels quite alien. Yeah, I mean, neither of them do. It's sort of more imagined.
Yeah, imaginary.
And then that's why I think it's harder, because you can't pinpoint, like, that's that,
Yeah.
you know?
But then all imagination comes from something we've experienced, right?
Yeah,
So you can't just
yeah,
imagine something that
yeah.
you've never... So... Or seen, at least.
Definitely harder than with the HR to sort of...
I definitely feel that one we've nailed. The woman out putting up her laundry, bales of hay coming in, harvest late summer, French, ruddy, sort of like thick. She's got thick arms.
she's
strong.
She's quite,
you know, you're not going to mess with her.
she's definitely used to, like,
Lifting
she you know,
things.
you see the way she walks. She
Yeah.
walks like, what's that, the painter who used to paint women quite sort of like muscular and a bit more voluptuous and big. What's that
Which one?
painter? Anyway,
Abstract, what looking? No.
I want to say Modigliani.
Modigliani?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sort of like, I see like quite a beautiful but chunky,
Yeah. Quite, yeah.
beautiful chunky.
You could almost go to Spain, Spanish as well.
Possibly. Maybe it's the south of France, close to the Spanish border. Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Now this is the...
So this is her. Oh, yeah. I'm getting a little bit of the tractor rubber tire is there. You know? Like hot tires on a summer's day, like that. Just it's not unpleasant. It's kind of nice. I'm also picking up a little bit of
Petroleum?
yeah, petroleum and a little bit of not tarmac, but like cobbled, some sort
Pebbles.
of road. Yeah, stone.
I can definitely taste stone, pebbles. It's sort of...
Yeah.
But... Or gravel even.
Yeah, like you can see this scene of like this country house in the meadow with this sort of paving and the tractor nearby, and it's hot, and yeah.
It's got a really interesting aftertaste, isn't it? How do you describe that? It's very cool when you say going back into temperatures.
Yeah.
You were saying before about
Yeah.
temperatures.
Cool and juicy. Like the tip of my tongue is like,
I think she's quite a cool character. I think she's someone who isn't too rash or hot-headed.
no.
Do you know what I'm
She's
saying?
got-
She's got this...
She's got,
She's quick. She can keep her cool.
yeah, she's got rural wisdom.
She holds her own.
She's a strong woman.
It's definitely very feminine.
It's interesting you say that. Iwu is called the Queen of PuErh because it's always associated with like the highest level of femininity.
This feels regal in her way, in her
Yeah.
own country way.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's
That's Iwu. That's why people love Iwu teas. Soft and elegant but strong.
yeah, you can feel her iron will in this.
Smell that. There's a sweetness to her as well. You want to say that there's something French baking somewhere in the kitchen, but we won't go there.
All I'll say is there are beehives around.
Oh, yeah. Clever. Maybe there's some wax soap around.
Yeah, it's this interesting contrast, really, between the smell and the taste.
Yeah, more of the minerals and the rocks and the, and then the beautiful.
Well, this is the strength, right? And there's a sense this is her interior, and this is what she smells like, but what her essence is this, and we're getting a bit pretentious about it.
Fine, it's fine. We can flirt with pretension. That's all right. That's kind of inevitable with these kinds of ways of tasting.
So now, that was the shed. That was, let's just recap, because I'm forgetting this one now.
Yeah, this one is we've got body odor, shed, some sort of chemically thing. We were talking about deodorant.
I think this could be a male.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing definitely a man here. But like, I don't know. I still don't know this character. I'm not sure if we're going to figure it out, but we can try. Much lighter liquor. You can see. All right, have a taste. Something about this tea. There's something a bit creepy about it.
It's definitely a man. It's definitely a man. There's nothing...
No, it's definitely a man, but it's a man who's trying to fake being nice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And what's he doing in his shed?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
question.
There's a man who's trying to, like, smell sweet.
But he's not.
But he's not.
It's getting creepy.
Yeah. And it's actually sort of...
Still have the laboratory.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
I get like, I'm imagining he's concocting some sweet-smelling chemicals that is going to sort of entice, like, it's a bit creepy. I want to say like, even like a sort of naphthalene, mothball-y sort of, is moving in that sort of territory. Like, it's sweet.
Mothballs,
but
definitely.
chemically somehow.
Yeah.
And that finish is so like sharp.
Quite unpleasant, really.
It's kind of sharp, and it still has a lingering, there's a prettiness about it, but it's like it reveals itself to actually be somehow synthetic.
So basically someone who is false, insincere, and is hiding something.
And so we'll keep talking, but it's worth remembering that, because I'm going to talk to you about this tea. Anyway. Where are we?
I was just thinking that I think we're still in the countryside, though.
I do as well.
I feel there's
I don't
gardens
think that they're very far apart.
What do you think, that they're neighbours? Or in the same area?
I think it's still summery. It's still, but...
He's an old man, don't you think?
Yeah, I would say put him in... I wouldn't say old. I would put him in the sort of middle age. I'd put him in the sort of 50s to 60s kind of zone. We always go creepy
He's not
on
a
this.
very attractive man, is he?
Oh, no.
There's nothing charming really about him, even though he tries to. It's not...
And it has a taste of, instead of that deodorant, it has a taste of like of an aftershave, a little bit like of some sort of like. There's some sort of, when you hug somebody or like you meet somebody and you're like, why are you wearing?
And they're using it to mask something.
Yeah.
Where she owns her.
Oh,
smell.
She owns her, like, that's my natural.
Yeah.
Smell.
Yeah. Whereas he's trying to mask something about himself.
Yeah.
But the question is, what is he trying to mask?
I don't think it needs to be creepy.
Okay.
I think it's masking a maybe a shallowness or a feeling of insufficiency.
I feel
I'm not like, maybe it's a lack of confidence or a lack of sort of self-knowledge.
I feel he's doing something shifty instead.
You want to go.
He's doing something shifty, and I don't know what it is, but it's
freaking you out.
It is freaking me out a bit. But strangely, I want to know more. Strangely, I want to keep drinking
Right,
it.
which is kind of why it stayed on my table for a while, because it was like, I just need to keep tasting it to try and understand it, you know? And I taste blind, so I don't know what they are when I taste them. So like I can...
There's a bit of a sweetness coming through now at the end.
Yeah, let's not make him too creepy. It's sort of like, yeah, hard to say without food and drink references, but I don't think that this person is necessarily trying to do something nefarious. I think it's just that like there's a, I sense a divorcee who feels like they need to somehow present something of themselves, but they're not quite sure what to present. You know, it's not necessarily knowingly insincere. It's just not knowing how to treat themselves sincerely. You know, that's my.
So basically, you've got empathy for him.
I have empathy for him, but I still don't really want to hang out.
He's socially awkward, isn't he? That's why he's off in his
Yeah.
shed.
Yeah, you know, spend a lot of time with him, or even just a little bit of time. You want to kind of shift away.
I'm getting nettles.
Yeah. Okay.
I get away with nettles. Nettles is
yeah, you can. Well, that's technically a food, I guess. But then anyway, dandelion, I guess, is as well. Yeah. Yeah. It's a weird thing because it's like this persistence of a quite pleasant aroma, but because it feels faked, it's no longer pleasant anymore. Do you know what I mean? Okay,
well, to me, it's got lots of different facets. You taste it and it feels quite bitter and very sort of like unpalatable, and then it starts to open up. And the end of it, there's a sweetness to it.
Yeah.
Like something quite touching.
Yeah. It's like while you're with the person, you don't really want to be with, but afterwards you're like, but you know what? He's not a bad guy. I mean, you know, you feel maybe a little bit of sympathy for him and a little bit like maybe you feeling a bit harsh on him.
Are we back to her?
We're back to her.
Okay.
Warmth.
That's where I want to be.
Get a hug. Get a hug from this one. What's her name?
So,
Whatever.
you gave her Madame Rognon,
Yeah,
didn't you?
Louisa Rognon.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And so what's interesting is this is a garden tea, right? This is a gushu. This is ancient tea. This is old tea. You can see very different color, right?
Yeah.
Much more sort of uniform. This is darker and richer. But with a lot of these garden teas, with PuErh and with other teas, I have to say, other tea types, when you have the younger teas, what you know that the producer is doing is they're working harder to try to bring out fragrances. This one's just like, pick it, treat it well, it will give you good tea. This one's like, we have to work it.
So when you say work it, what kind of things do they do to work it?
Well, that's part of the sort of secrets and skills of the producer, but it will involve, you know, how long they wither it, what storage conditions they put while during the withering, what's the temperature they fire it at, how much they roll it.
And how do they make these decisions?
Through years and years of knowledge, of understanding.
So they'll pick the leaf and go, okay, it's at this stage we need to do this to get the most out of it. They know.
Yeah, they'll pick the tea and they'll know that they need to treat it sensitively because you can taste it can go bitter very quickly, like this tea. So they have to be very careful. And what they'll try to do is accentuate aroma. How do we accentuate aroma? Because the actual leaf material doesn't have much substance. It doesn't have much like that's just great good quality leaf that speaks of the soil, that speaks of the quality of the plant. This is a bit more like it's a bit young and so we have to like perfume it in a way without like spraying it. We have to perfume it by accentuating those aromatics, right? And so there's methods that they use, especially during the sort of withering phase, to try to sort of accentuate that aromatic. And so when we said it's sort of like insincere, it feels fake, or it feels like it's sort of covering over a shallowness, that is really kind of why we don't select these teas versus these teas, you know? Even though in some ways, some people might really like that tea because it has that very fragrant note to it, you know? So it's interesting that the character sort of comes full circle and describes the tea actually quite well.
So they're guessing when they do all these processes to it. They're guessing what they think, and then the result. Then they taste the results, or do they actually do a dry test?
They're trying over year, so it's no longer a guess.
Yeah, but within a batch that year.
But you kind of know what the cultivar is, and you kind of know because this is definitely a hybrid cultivar. So they planted a cultivar which is different from the original.
Pure.
That's like original heirloom, 200-plus-year-old tea tree. So there was no messing around. That was planted by seed 200 years ago. This one, they've gone into the lab. They figured out a cultivar
so that's
cutting.
Your whole lab thing
yeah,
too.
It's not unnatural because it's still
but
grown
do you think
leaf.
that coloured your experience of it, knowing that it's been in the lab?
Possibly, but I don't think it possibly. But that's what I associate with that taste, and it's interesting that you associated something similar. I mean, I know that I was bringing up the lab a bit, but I taste man-made intervention here. That tastes more natural.
That's wholesome.
Yeah.
This isn't wholesome.
Taste
it's
it again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which one is this?
That's that one. That's
the creepy one.
It's not creepy. I don't think it's creepy.
Now you told me all about I can taste the lab now. Very strongly. Got a slightly chemical taste to it.
Yeah, and it's not chemical. There's nothing chemical in it. It's not sprayed with anything or anything like that. It's just the effect that man has or humans have on messing with the leaf to try to get something out of a younger tea, because it's only probably 15, 20-year-old, tea plants versus 200-year-old. So they have to try to like supercharge it somehow. I'm really not helping you.
Yeah, no, this is quite unenjoyable actually, I have to say.
I don't want to like
it's interesting for sure, but it's not an enjoyable mouthful.
It's a very interesting tea.
It tastes really chemically.
And I would love to like do these kinds of things where I intentionally buy this tea to taste it back to back with something so that people could really get to understand what the difference is between sort of terroir based. This is the taste of the soil. This is the taste of
just
the
amazing.
Plant. Yeah, I know. Part of me wishes I bought it.
I
but
know,
anyway,
I was just going to say, this is really...
We have to make decisions at the time.
That's just like...
I've got a huge bag of it. You can take it.
That's like drinking a cup of sunshine.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel like you're just
in warm company with that beautiful, French soul there. And here you just got...
Yeah,
you've got a fabrication.
You're in a shed with an old man.
No, don't.
He's got really strong aftershave on. But no.
God, we're really like skirting around the edges of like of describing poor old man.
Yeah.
We did that for the last one.
Do we?
The negative old man in the suicidal old man. Yeah, no, we don't want that. Anyway, there you go. Another one down. We thought we would dive into. I'm feeling quite caffeinated now, so we better stop. But yeah, let us know your sort of non-food and drink tasting notes, the imagery that comes up when you're tasting. It's I think a fascinating way to describe tea. And interestingly, maybe I've sort of pushed the line a little bit, but I think that by doing this, you do start to come around and understanding the tea in a way that's actually quite accurate. Even though you go off on these wild tangents, it tends to come back and actually the sort of the threads join again, and you sort of make full circle.
Yes.
It's a, and just the look of those, very, very different. Anyway, that's it, tea heads. Check out our other videos, taste our teas wherever you're in the world by browsing mayleaf.com, and come visit us if you're ever in London. Other than that, this is Lee and I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the crazy, wild and bizarre stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.
Bye.